Welcome to the Succeed Against the Odds podcast. My name is Francesca Anastasi, also known as Sabea. I'm a multi-passionate entrepreneur. I'm your host and mentor. And each week we bring you an inspiring person, an expert, or message, and some behind the scenes to help you ignite and unleash your potential. Thanks so much for listening. Welcome back to another episode of the Succeed Against the Odds podcast. And I'm so excited today to have Donya Zimmerman as my guest. Donya is a powerful businesswoman. Welcome, Donya.
Thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm just so excited to be here today.
Well, I'm excited to have you. And I love your company name. It's a Powerful Biz Woman. Can you please share about that? Tell me about your business.
Well, the premise behind Powerful Biz Woman was that I had a business. I was a lawyer for about 15 years. And then I had to give up my law practice due to, financial mismanagement. And that happened around in 2012. So I had to figure out, what am I going to do with all of this education and experience that I have in the legal field? Because I would no longer be a practicing attorney. I'm a non-practicing attorney now. So I was trying to figure out, what could I do? And this happened in June of 2012. So then I decided I just had to, go within my inner self and figure out what I was going to do with my life after being a lawyer. I was trained, I was groomed since I was 7 years old to be a lawyer. And then I had to figure out, what was I going to do? So it took me a journey. It took me about between June 2012 to August 2015, when I was given my opportunity to share my story. I never spoke in front of people before. I have given workshops and seminars, educating people on certain legal topics, but I never was what you call a motivational or public speaker. So I went to this Moms on Fire, Mompreneurs on Fire event. It was in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Never been there. I went there in August of 2015, and I shared my story, and God said to me through someone said, "You are a powerful business woman." And so a friend of mine was like, "Wow, you should call yourself the Powerful Biz Woman." And that's where the premise of the Powerful Biz Woman came from. And to me, a powerful biz woman is an individual who has been through something, been through a mess. They realize that they have learned from this mess, and they have realized that they can turn this mess into a message that's, powerful, inspirational, to help someone who may be going through a similar situation like themselves. And that's how I came up with the Powerful Biz Woman, which means that you have a right to make mistakes, which means that you have a right to fail. But you take those mistakes and you take those failures and use them as stepping stones, as lesson points, so that you can live in your God-given purpose and live abundantly and learn from your mistakes, and make sure you do not make those same mistakes again. But realize that throughout life, you are going to fail. You're going to make mistakes, but it's, what do you do after you make that mistake, and what do you do after you fail?
You said something there that just stuck with me. So I want to go back to it. You said, "Is the mess is training for your message."
Yeah, it took me a while to learn that, because a lot of times society makes you think, and media makes you think, that if you fail at something, if you make a mistake, that defines you. That whatever mistake you made, that's how you're going to be defined the rest of your life. And I don't see it like that. I see mistakes as learning lessons. I see failures as you falling forward into your greatness. Because if you think about all the most successful and great people out there, like, for example, Thomas Edison, what he said was that, "No, I only made 10,000 mistakes before I hit the right invention." That's what he said. 10,000 mistakes before I hit the right invention. But he never gave up. Imagine trying to do something over and over again 10,000 times. The average person would give up after the third time, saying 3 strikes, you're out. But Thomas Edison didn't give up. He just went 10,000 times until he came up with that invention that would change not only his life, but change other people's lives. That's why a message is what it is, mess. Your mess is a message to someone else to let them know, hey, I've been where you at. If I can make it, you can make it.
I love that. I so love that. And Edison, I mean, he found 10,000 ways of not to do it. So he used the lessons because he didn't do it 10,000 times the same way. He changed it each time. That's why he was able to get to the result.
Exactly.
So what kind of law were you in before, and how do you use a law now in your business to help other entrepreneurs?
Well, as a lawyer, when I talk to newbie attorneys, I tell them, whatever you do not do bankruptcy law, do not do foreclosure, and do not do family law. I try to tell them because those areas of law are very, very draining, especially family law, because you are dealing with families that are breaking apart. You are dealing with children whose families are being broken apart, whose parents are divorcing or separating each other, who is moving from one person to another person to live. So it's a lot of emotional toll. And I understood why I felt that it was time for me to let go of it because I was mentally drained. When you are doing something and it mentally drains you, don't stay there for the money. Don't stay there for the comfort. Because once you mentally clock out, you are no good to yourself and you're no good to anyone else. You have to do something that you love and are passionate about. So for me, what I do is I educate people on how to cover their assets while in business. As a lawyer, excuse my language, we always had to do CYA letters. Cover your behind. That's how I'm going to say it. Because sometimes you would get that one client that said that you didn't file something, said that you didn't contact an attorney. So you had to keep everything documented. You had to have paperwork, letters to cover yourself. That's why we call them CYA letters. So that's why I came up with the concept that you have all of these business consultants, business coaches, public speakers who sit out there and they'll tell you how to get the clients, how to make the money, how to monetize your business, how to do this and how to do that. But nobody was touching on the legal aspects and financial aspects of being in business.
You are so on point and so right about that, because I think a lot of businesses, when they start up, especially when they start up, they focus so much on, just getting their business license, buying whatever it is they need, their equipment, whatever it is, their training to learn what it is that they need to learn, and maybe insurance for whatever, but they don't really go deep in the protection of what needs to be protected. So when you say in protecting your assets, is it through insurance or is there another way?
Well, the way I address it from, I call it, who should be on your board, who should be on your business dream team. And it's 5 people that I say. Well, it may be a little bit more, but it's 5. I call it the ABCs of starting a business, covering your assets. 1, you need an accountant to help you with the money, with your finances. You need an attorney to help you with the legal aspects of being a business. You need a bookkeeper and a banker. And the reason why I say a bookkeeper and an accountant are one and the same, a lot of people think they're one and the same, but they're not. A bookkeeper keeps track of your daily activities on a regular daily basis, whereas the accountant deals with your past transactions. Like when you go to your accountant, you get your taxes done for all of your transactions from last year. Whereas the bookkeeper, he or she deals with everything that you spend every day, the money coming in, the money coming out. And a lot of people don't realize that you need an accountant and a bookkeeper for the money. You need an attorney for the legal part. You need to have a great relationship with your banker, because there's a lot of people out there that will think that a PayPal account is a business account. No. And a lot of people do business and they commingle their money, where they put money they make from their business into their personal account. You're not supposed to do that. So that's why I say you need to have the banker. Then you need to make sure that you have a coach, because a lot of people go into business and their life is a mess. Their personal life is a mess. How can you be successful in business when your personal life is a mess? So a life coach will help you get your life in order so that your mind, body, and spirit is ready for the entrepreneurship journey. Then you need a business consultant, because what a business consultant does, they help you get all the paperwork you need. They help you get your paperwork in order. They help you put your systems in place so that your business runs smoothly. And then you need an insurance agent. An insurance agent will make sure that you have the proper insurance, because there's a lot of coaches out there, motivational speakers out there, and they don't realize that they should have some form of professional liability insurance, like an accountant, attorney, and doctor has, because you may not satisfy all your customers. It may be some customers who pay you money and they will try to sue you or threaten to sue you and say, hey, you promised to do A, B, and C, and I paid you this amount of money, but I didn't get A, B, and C from you, so I want my money back. So if you have professional liability insurance, you are covered. So if they do decide to sue you, you have insurance. We get insurance, we get life insurance, and we get car insurance. So why aren't we getting insurance for our business? So this is what I mean, when I'm talking about how to start your startup on a strong legal and financial foundation. You need to have these people on board, on your business team.
Wow, this is such important information that I feel, like you said, that you're really filling a gap that is not covered by most, in most areas. Like, it's not something that naturally comes to mind, that you need to have a bookkeeper. And like you said, many don't realize that there is a difference between a bookkeeper and an accountant. And it's so important to build those relationships with all those people that you mentioned, like the banker and having a lawyer helping you set things properly so that you cover yourself, you cover your ASS. It's so important to have that. That is the foundation, because you can build an incredible business, and then something comes along, like you said, like a lawsuit, and your whole business can go belly up just because you did not protect it.
Exactly. That's why you have to be prepared for the what ifs. Like, if you have a brick and mortar building for your business, you got to make sure you have that fire insurance, that homeowner's insurance, that renter's insurance to protect yourself. And a lot of people don't know, if you're running your business in your home, you need to make sure that you record that on your taxes. But it has to be set up as an actual office, because a lot of people don't realize, oh, I didn't know that was a write-off, or I didn't know that I had to have an actual office. Because I've had people who've tried to get certifications to do business with their local state, with their local government. And then the government, the agency that deals with small businesses, says, we need to come to your home and see your office. And their office is their bedroom. And they didn't realize that they had to have a separate room that's not attached. It doesn't necessarily, like, you can have a family room and turn that into your office, but it has to be your office. A lot of people didn't understand that. So I had a lot of clients coming to me, and I had to explain things to them, that you cannot just say I'm in business if you're not protecting yourself. Like, I see a lot of people who sell natural stuff, natural products. And I asked them, do you have negligence insurance, product liability insurance? What is that? Just in case someone uses your products, and you may have an ingredient in there that they didn't know was in there. And you never know. Someone is allergic to peanuts or eggs, and they use your product, and then they have allergic reaction. That's why you need product liability insurance, especially when you're selling natural products that you are creating in making yourself.
That is so important. And you're right. I think a lot of people don't realize the consequences that could come from not having liability insurance.
Exactly.
So I'm going to backtrack here for a minute, if I may, and we're going to go back to where you said you had gone through a few years of just kind of figuring out what to do, and then you got this opportunity to speak at an event that was not even in your hometown. How did that come to you? How did you apply, or how did that whole transition happen? How do you go from being a lawyer to now trying to figure out what you're going to do next for a few years, and then finding yourself on the stage sharing story?
Well, the funny thing is, the way that it came about was that I was boohooing on Facebook. I had to go to Department of Social Services to apply for food stamps. And the funny thing is, I was sitting next to a woman who was going through a similar thing, and we were talking to each other. And she was telling me about this event that she was going to called Mompreneurs on Fire, because her husband had left her with 5 kids. So we were talking, and she said, you know what? And I was telling her what she could do, and she was telling me what I could do. She said, you know what? You would make a good motivational speaker. She said, my sister has invited me to speak at this event in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. I wanted to know if you want to come. And I said, well, sure. So she sent my information to the event coordinator who was, coordinating the event. They heard my story and they said, Donya, you need to come. Didn't know how I was going to get there, but by the grace of God, I had a little money saved up, had a little credit card, maxed out my credit card, paying for it now, but I maxed it out and I went. And now I understand what, because I'm a Christian, I understand what they say. Go out on faith and leap forward into your greatness.
Well, that's such an inspiring story. I mean, you went from food stamps to this event to share your story, and look at you now.
Exactly. Imagine going from making 6 figures to standing in the unemployment line, going to social services to get services. You never think what's going to happen in your life until my friend told me. She said, Donnie, because I was like, I'm not going there. I'm not going to unemployment. I'm not doing that. That's not me. And she said, Donya, that's what your Social Security taxes are for. That's what you pay taxes for. That's why you pay unemployment insurance. You deserve it. You worked hard. You had a bad break in your life. Go get what you need to get back on your feet. Don't sit up here. Don't let pride deprive you of services that you paid into and that you deserve. Because she said one thing about it. You're not going to stay on that forever. You're not going to be in this position forever. She said, this is just for now. She said, if I had to do it all over again, when I needed those services, I was too proud to get them. And I struggled with my kids. You don't need to struggle. Go get what you need, because at the end of the day, you're not going to need it forever. And you're going to work your way out of that situation. And that's when I went ahead and said, yes, I'm going to do it. I swallowed my pride and I went and did what I had to do. And it was very helpful. I was able to take some courses for free to help me become a certified business consultant. And I took courses to help me become a certified public speaker. And I said, when you realize your situation is just that, it's just a situation. Your circumstances do not define you. What defines you is what are you going to do while you're in this circumstance or situation right now.
It's amazing to see how you were able to accept the fact that this was only going to be temporary, like your friend told you. It doesn't mean that you're going to be stuck there forever by accepting help. Sometimes as women, we tend to get in these situations where we feel like, oh, we don't want help. We can do it on our own. And it's so counterproductive. You knew you were not going to be stuck there. You made a choice of not being stuck there. And I think that's what the beauty of your story is, that you went from having a really good income to losing it all, going so far to the point where you needed assistance from the government, but you were able to say, I am not going to stay there. This is only temporary. And you change it around. And in a way, your story is even more useful because you went through that, because sharing that gives hope to people who may be dealing with that right now, or may be in a similar situation.
Exactly. And I never forget, I took Lisa Nichols' Power Jam, and she said, always tell people about your dip, because you're on a cliff and you dip and you're going down and you're just falling and you hit rock bottom, but then you climb your way back up. And that's how I saw it. I was like, wow, every time I needed encouragement, it was some webinar that someone would send me, or I would be on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, or, whatever social media platform I was on. And it was something, a message that reminded me, you are building yourself up for the next chapter in your life. And one thing my dad always told me, every decade is always something different. And he is absolutely right. As I look back on my life, I've done a lot of things. I was a social worker. I was a court commissioner. And the court commissioner is, say if you got drunk one night and did a DWI, I was the one you saw to determine whether you need a bond, how much your bond would be, or whether I would let you go on your own recognizance. I did that. I was a teacher assistant. I did a lot of stuff. And now I'm a teacher. And I never thought I would be teaching, and I love it. I just love what I do. I don't make a lot of money from it because I do this and plus my business. But I've always been passionate about educating our future generation of children. So I have come to realize that sometimes your life has to be shaken a little to make sure that you are really living in your passion. And, everything I do, every position I have has been where I am helping people to better themselves, to better their lives. And I think that's why I was put on this earth, to be of service to others.
And on top of that, you have 2 books.
Exactly.
Can you tell us about those books?
Well, both of these books were a book. They call them a book collaboration that my friend Teresa Haley Howard put together. The first book was my therapy book, From Fear to Freedom. It was a book collaboration of, I think, about 20 or so women, where we wrote our stories of how we overcame something so tragic in our lives as we saw it. But then at the end, we realized it wasn't that tragic. And mine was making a major comeback, from losing my law practice to where I am now. And, the first thing I said in my book is, imagine being told that you can no longer do something that you love. And that was the first sentence in my book and my chapter. And it was a great book. So the first book was From Fear to Freedom. And that was therapeutic for me, to help me let go of the shame of losing my law practice, of being disbarred, basically. And so I had to let go of that shame. And when I shared the book with some people, they said, why did you write that? You don't want people to know that. And I was like, no, if you share your story can help someone else. And they were like, oh, it was therapy for me. And it really helped me take that leap of faith to really become the powerful biz woman. And then my second book, The 3 P's to Success, Purpose, Passion, and Profit, was, okay, the tears are gone. You went through what you went through. You're overcoming it. Now it's time for you to figure out what will be the next chapter in your life. So mine was 5 simple steps to turn your passion into a profitable business. And so I try to teach people that you can be the CEO of your own destiny. Don't wait for other people to tell you what your destiny is. And so this book, The 3 P's to Success, is to me the sequel to From Fear to Freedom. Like, From Fear to Freedom is when you just get over what you went through. You go through the pain points, and then you say, okay, now it's time for me to create the next chapter in my life. And that's what the 3 Ps to success does. It helps you create the next chapter in your life.
Very nice. So if our audience wants to, if our listeners would like to get a copy of either one of those books, where is a good place for them to order it from?
Well, they can actually go to my website. It's Powerful Biz Woman, BIZ, as in zebra, .weebly, WEEBLY.com. Or they can just hit me up on Facebook, Powerful Biz Woman. Go to my fan business page, Powerful Biz Woman, and just message me, and then I will send them, the information that they need. But if they go to my website, powerfulbizwoman.weebly.com, and hit the tab, it will have the 3 Ps where they can actually go and pay for the book, and then a book will be shipped to them, and then it's from fear to freedom. So it's a tab for each book on my website.
That's excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing all the tips and sharing your story. It's quite the story, quite the journey that you've been going through and now helping other women. And you also have an event that you were telling me about, a yearly event?
This has been a passion about mine since 2015, since I became a public speaker, business consultant. I have said, I'm going to do my own conference. I'm going to do my own conference. And I would meet event coordinators and I'd be like, I'll do it next year. And God told me, no, you are going to do it this year. And you are going to partner. You're going to meet a young lady in in Massachusetts. And I did. Me and Alina Lopez Thomas, we basically have the same businesses, but she's in Massachusetts and I am in Maryland. And that's another key thing. That sometimes it's good to partner with other business owners, especially if you have similar interests, similar clientele, and similar services and products, because sometimes you're stronger in 2 or more than in 1. So we decided to partner, put our businesses together, and we came up with the Ultimate Biz Conference because she has a background in government where she worked for that dealt with small business development in Massachusetts, especially for daycare providers. She was the compliance officer for anyone that wanted to open a daycare. So we decided to put our resources together and we came up with the Ultimate Biz Conference. And the premise behind Ultimate Biz Conference is that we educate you on the legal and financial aspects of being in business. We help you, give you the tools the resources you need to make sure that your business is being built on a strong legal and financial foundation. Like when you build a house, you have to make sure you build it on a strong foundation so that it can withstand any type of weather, like a hurricane, thunderstorm, tornado. So that's what we did. We put the premise like in the Bible. When you build a house on a strong foundation, it stays. But if you build it on sand, it will sink. It will just anything blows it. If you think about the 3 little pigs, building a house out of straw and sticks is not it, but building a house out of bricks, it will help you. So that's what the Ultimate Biz Conference is all about.
So have a strong foundation and you help people get that in their business. I'm excited to see what else you may be doing in the future, because now you're just partnering up with this event, but I don't know. Something in my gut tells me that there's more coming. Are you brewing something? Maybe.
Oh yeah, and I forgot to tell people, we are going to have a women's retreat, and it's going to be in Ellicott City, Maryland, near me, in Baltimore, Maryland, and it's going to be at the Turf Valley Resort. And at this retreat, it's going to be mainly for mompreneurs who have a business, but their business is not going the way they want to. They want to make sure that they leave a legacy for their family, and they want to make sure that their business is protected and that their family will be protected if something happens to them. And the reason why we decided to do a business women's retreat is, one, as women, we don't take care of ourselves half the time. And I've been to this retreat, this resort, and they have massage, they have golf. I mean, it's just a beautiful place. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to have a business retreat for women, for mompreneurs. And when I say mompreneurs, I'm talking about aunties. I'm talking about daycare providers. I'm talking about teachers. I'm talking about anyone that deals with children on a regular basis.
No children allowed in this retreat.
Correct. It's just for the moms, the aunties, the teachers, the daycare providers, and I felt that this would be a great retreat. And also with this retreat, you will learn. It will be empowering. And so we're coming up with that. That's either going to be in September or October of 2018.
So people can find out through your website, correct?
Yes, through the Ultimate Biz Conference. Actually, our website is in development. It's called the ultimatebizconference.com. But if you go to our Facebook page, we have everything about the Ultimate Biz Conference 2018 and then the Ultimate Biz Conference Women's Retreat. That's going to be up there as well.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much again, Donya. You've been a delight, and you truly are a powerful woman. It comes through right through your voice, and I am very grateful that you have been my guest.
Well, thank you so much for having me on, and I'm just so excited, and I'm amazed about what you have done. You have inspired me to be the woman I am, especially with Magnificent You. And that's a great organization. That's a great business. And if anyone is interested in really, really becoming the woman that you know you can be, you have to check out Magnificent You.
Oh, you're so sweet. Well, thank you so much. I hope to meet you in person one day because powerful women need to meet. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please pass it on, and it would mean so much to me if you would leave an honest review on iTunes. I'd really appreciate it. Till next time, embrace your magnificence.